When this woman walked into a hospital, she was unaware that she would revolutionize the future of medicine. Despite this, her identity would remain unknown for several years. In 1951, Henrietta Lacks, a 31-year-old black woman, mother of 5, and a tobacco farmer from Virginia, had been experiencing vaginal bleeding and abdominal pain. When it became unbearable and she couldn't get a proper diagnosis from local doctors, she had no choice but to seek help at Johns Hopkins, the only major hospital near them that would treat black patients. Even Hopkins, which did treat black patients, segregated them in colored wards. Upon evaluation, she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cervical cancer. At the time, cervical cancer was a death sentence, especially for black women who received subpar medical care due to segregation. While administering radium, which was the standard medical treatment at the time, the doctor took a biopsy. This was done without consent. In medical research at the time, it was common practice to take patient samples without asking. These samples were sent to Dr. George Guy, a cancer researcher at Hopkins, who had been trying for years to develop a human cell line that could survive long enough for scientists to conduct experiments. What he discovered was astonishing. Unlike all the other cell samples that died within days, Henrietta's cells refused to die, and in fact were multiplying at an unprecedented rate. These samples were named HeLa, after the first 2 letters of her first and last names, and for decades, scientists referred to the source of these cells as Helen Lane or Helen Larson, her identity unknown to most. Realizing the potential, Dr. Guy shipped them to laboratories worldwide for research, and in no time, HeLa cells became a medical goldmine. One of the earliest significant breakthroughs was when Dr. Jonas Salk used HeLa cells to develop the first effective polio vaccine. Before this, polio had been one of the most feared diseases in the world and was crippling thousands of children. But with HeLa, Salk was able to grow the polio virus in human cells, allowing him to test the vaccine on a massive scale. But while Henrietta's cells were changing the world, her health continued to deteriorate. And on October 4th, 1951, Henrietta Lacks took her last breath. For decades, her story remained hidden while scientists used HeLa cells in tens of thousands of experiments. It wasn't until the 1970s that Henrietta Lacks' family learned the truth. The revelation was shocking and painful. They had lived their lives in poverty, struggling for basic health care, while the cells of their mother had been commercialized, studied, and sold. Pharmaceutical companies profited, and scientists built their careers. It took decades for Henrietta to receive the recognition she deserved. In 2010, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot was released, exposing the full story. The book became a bestseller, sparking a national conversation about medical ethics, consent, and racial injustice in healthcare. So the next time you take a drug, receive a vaccine, or hear about a groundbreaking medical discovery, remember Henrietta, the woman who never lived to see the impact of her own cells, but whose body paved the way for countless medical breakthroughs without which modern medicine would not be the same.